Please repost this. Even if you can't help, maybe somebody else can. And I am praying for a miracle. I'm in a terrible situation. I'm just trying to get my newborn baby fed. Her father is an alcoholic. He has effectively abandoned us. It's not really safe for me to interact with him. I can't afford formula. I'm failing at breastfeeding because I'm under too much stress and because she's lip, cheek, and tongue tied. I have an appointment to get her ties revised next week, but I can't afford that either. I feel like I have nowhere to turn, and it seemed worth it to just swallow my pride and ask the internet for help. Whatever you can do makes a difference, and even if it's just reposting, please. Thank you.
So as a single mom, like, people tell me, oh, you need to look at single dads. And when I tell them that it's not typically my first choice, because single dads, for the most part, are just not the same as single moms. The caliber, we are just on a different level. And let me tell you, getting on the dating apps has made me realize that that is the truth. The amount of men I have getting on there, and they're telling me that their kids haven't even turned 2, but they've been divorced for 2 years. Like, sir, the math ain't mathin'. And then another one saying that he got divorced because his ex-wife was a shitty homemaker. When then you did the math and you know that at the time, not only were we in a global pandemic, but you had a 4-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a newborn. Yeah, no shit, she's sitting on the fucking couch trying to, like, gather her fucking thoughts. After between 4 and 6, that's like burnout hour as a single mom, or as a mom who stays at home with 3 young children. Like, no, listen, I don't know. I have yet to meet a single dad on here that has green flags. I hope I get proved wrong eventually, but let me tell you, single dads that I keep meeting on these apps are just, they're not it. In the last 3 weeks, I have had over 30 conversations with single fathers. Only one did not sound all of the alarms in my head, and I went on a date with that one. The reason why I'm not doing a second date is because, honestly, I was just not physically attracted to him. He was a really nice guy, stand-up man, but for somebody else. I just wasn't attracted, and I need to be physically attracted to the person that, I would consider dating, even if I have zero plans on sleeping with them for, a long time. But all of this to, like, show that people in society, because everyone I tell that I don't want to date a single father, they're like, why? But you have kids too. Listen, children do not equate your worth. They don't. Just because you have children does not mean you are less than somebody else. Because the thing is, a lot of these people with no kids, they think they're hot shit because they don't have kids, but then they have kids, and then they end up single fathers because their mom found out that they actually weren't that great of a person. Because the thing about children is children will bring out whether or not you married a boy or a man in, like, seconds. So we need to stop trying to tell single moms that they're only good for dating other single fathers. No, absolutely not. Children are blessings. They are not burdens. They are the next generation. Now, if you have a problem with that, that's cool, but you cannot look down on somebody because of the fact that they have children. You just can't. It does not equate their worth. I'm sure there are crazy baby mamas out there. Do I know more deadbeat dads than crazy baby mamas? Absolutely. But do I know crazy baby mamas? Absolutely. But yeah, we really gotta stop, because honestly, like, I have not been proved wrong by a single dad yet. Like, it's tragic. Like, this last, like, it's just honestly, like, I was not wrong when I said that single moms are not the same as single fathers.
Where are y'all finding these men? Where are y'all finding these men? Because, baby, I'm a single mom, and it's like 1 in a million that I'm gonna find a man that wants to step up and be a stepdad for my son and care for me. Like, caring for one person is a lot, and men don't even know how to do that. Men can't even stay loyal to a woman. And I'm asking for a man to stay loyal to me and my son. That's like a rare occurrence. Like, especially for a woman that doesn't go out and, like, I don't party, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I really am just a mom. That might be a problem, but I'm vibing. Like, I love being a mom. Is that my entire Personality? No. But I'm a single mom. I work from home. Like, this is the life. So I'm just trying to add a little bit of spice. I want to be loved. I want to love someone. Dating apps are just not a thing. They don't work. They don't work. Because with me, I'm not going on no date. Like, the last person I was going to go on a date with, bro, they tried to have me plan it. And me pay. They were talking about, like, yeah, so like, you're going to cover your portion? Baby. Like, is it too much to ask for flowers and, like, a proper date? Is that just, like, dead in this society? Now, I know that my dream man probably isn't in Pennsylvania, but where are you at? And yes, like, I'm putting my faith in God and, like, praying and knowing that, like, he will bring me a man when the time is right. But, like, I'm ready. It's hookup culture. That's what it's about. Men just wanting to get their pee-pees wet and then dip. And honey, that's not happening. There's a trillion other girls that will let your pee-pee get wet. Okay? A lot of girls. I'm not that girl. I'm not. I don't got time to waste. So, what do y'all do? What do y'all do if you don't go out and you don't party and you don't go to bars and you don't, anywhere I'm going, I'm with my son. And you gotta have balls to approach me when I'm with my son. Most men are like, probably like, oh, she's in a relationship. I'm single. Do I need to wear a freaking single neckband? I will never do that, but maybe I'm just meant to be single for a little bit. Rest of 2023, I'm supposed to be single. Like, I've been single for long enough. I'm ready for a husband. I'm ready for a husband. Like, I am too old. I'm 25, but I'm ready. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready for my husband. Send in your applications. On a serious note, though, I'm 5'11", so, like, I need a man that's, like, 6'2" or above. Like, I'm trying to have D1 babies. Okay? Anyways, alright.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you all for tuning in once again. Let's get it rolling. She's sitting there asking, where do you even find good men anymore? A single mother saying she just wants love, loyalty, and a man who will take care of her and her child. She wants a man to be a provider, a protector, a stepfather, and to stay loyal through it all. But the same women asking these questions are the ones who pushed away the very kind of men they now claim to need. They made their choices when they thought they could do it alone. Now they're realizing what that independence really costs. She says men don't know how to love or stay loyal. But let's be real. Women stopped giving men a reason to stay. Too many women replaced commitment with attitude and respect with entitlement. They wanted love on their own terms. But partnership doesn't work that way. You can't demand loyalty when your actions never showed value in the first place. You can't build a home if the foundation is pride, not peace. Good men are out there. They've just stopped volunteering to fix broken situations they didn't create. No man wants to walk into a relationship where he's treated like a wallet, expected to raise another man's child, and still questioned for not doing enough. That's not love. That's a transaction. Women created this imbalance by ignoring real men when they had them, and now the same women are asking where they went. This modern idea that men should step up, while women refuse to soften up, is exactly why so many are walking away. Men aren't disappearing. They're just done being used. They watch too many women disrespect them publicly, and then cry privately when the consequences hit. Loyalty doesn't grow where accountability doesn't exist. You can't ask for a man to lead if you've already decided you don't want to follow. So when she asks, where are all the good men? The answer is simple. They're building their peace protecting their energy, and refusing to settle for women who only want help, not partnership. Ladies, if you truly want a man who will love you and stay loyal, start by being the kind of woman a man wants to stay loyal to. Because the problem was never that men disappeared. It's that women stopped deserving the men they say they're looking for.
Oh, you gotta watch this.
To my mind the other day, or not the other day, earlier today, you know how they have like the Big Brother program for like, you know, your kids can have siblings? They need to do that with good men who want to be a dad to somebody. So that way there's a program to where take my kids who don't have a father, and I'm sure not going to attempt to get one because I cannot stand men in general. They make me want to throw the up in my skin crawl. But that way my kids would be able to go to a place to experience what it's like to have a dad. You know what I mean? Like, think of that. Because someone come up with that for kids that need a dad.
Let's rewind that back.
And I'm damn sure not going to attempt to get one because I cannot stand men in general. They make me want to throw the up in my skin crawl.
I thought that's what she said. Who's signing up for that? I don't know not one man that wants to sign up for that. First of all, you don't respect him. Why would the children respect him? So here's a few things you got to think about before you even jump into this situation. Parenting differences. Since these are not his children, he doesn't have much of a say-so when it comes to discipline. Because right now you like, I need a stepdaddy. I need a stepdaddy. But soon as he do something you don't like, what you doing to my kids? Another reason, child resistance. Look at the mother's attitude and the way she goes about things. You don't think you're going to hear the words, but you not my daddy. You can't tell me what to do. Again, who's signing up for that? Woman, get it together. Focus on you and your children. That's you and their father's responsibility. Not the so-called stepdaddy that you don't even like, because you don't like men, remember? Drop your comments. Let me know what you think, because she needs some advice. Don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe, follow. You know what to do. Let's go.
So there's this woman going off online, talking about how she needs a stepdad for her kids. She's saying she wants love. She wants a man who'll provide, and she wants someone who'll step in and help raise her child. But here's what's strange. These are the same women who spent years shouting, "I'm strong and independent. I don't need a man." You can't have it both ways. You can't reject the very thing you now claim you need when life gets real. A lot of modern women bought into this false independence. Society told them men were optional, that they could do it all alone, that being soft or dependent was weak. But now, real life has shown them that independence without partnership gets lonely and hard. Bills still show up, responsibilities pile up, and that "I don't need a man" energy doesn't raise kids or pay rent. Suddenly, what they mock, commitment and stability, is what they're desperate for. What's wild is that when men used to say they wanted traditional women, nurturing, respectful, loyal, women laughed at them. Now, those same women are crying out for traditional men, providers, protectors, leaders. But how does that work when you spent years tearing those men down? You can't tell men they're not needed, then act shocked when they stop showing up. That's not empowerment. That's entitlement. Men have stepped away because they're tired. They're tired of being blamed for everything while being told they offer nothing. They're tired of double standards. Women want a man who provides like it's 1950, but she wants to behave like it's 2025. You can't demand traditional treatment while rejecting traditional values. That's the contradiction, destroying modern relationships. Women need to understand this. Independence isn't the problem. The problem is pride. You can be independent and still value a man. But when your independence becomes arrogance, when it blinds you from partnership, you lose. Because no man with self-respect is going to volunteer to fix what you intentionally broke. You can't preach that men aren't necessary, then expect them to come running when reality hits. The truth always circles back. You do need a man. You just didn't want to admit it until it was.
If you're a single man between the ages of 30 and 35, it's probably time to accept that you are likely going to be a stepdad. That being said, I am accepting stepdad applications. And I know you're probably thinking, what's in it for me? Well, my baby daddy is 6'8", And you see how I'm coming, baby. You see the shoulders. If you start working with my babies right now and start paying their sports fees, you will get a return on your investment in about 15 years. And my twins are like 5, so it's really early enough. We could go any direction, right? And we don't even have to be typical like basketball and football. We could really go soccer, swimming, baseball, volleyball. You tell me. All you got to do is start paying my baby sports fees. Because why do they cost that much? Maybe you could even start coaching one of their teams. And then when it's time for their documentary, right, you get that good character arc where you get to be the dad who stepped up. I'm from the Black Midwest, right? I'm from Cleveland. Where's LeBron from? Up the street. You know, the Midwest produces greatness. And my degree is in PR. We can really make this work, okay? Listen, serious inquiries only. Let's talk chicken.
Yeah.
So why she didn't make it work with her baby daddy? Like, why her and her baby daddy didn't come up with this plan? Listen, remember, we do not debate, we do not argue, just point and laugh. This is your daily source of comedy. Let us just laugh.
I want to take a moment to honor every stepfather. Every man who steps up and covers children that he didn't birth but would give his life for those kids and treats them like his own. For every stepfather who covered a family when another man didn't take care of his responsibilities. I want to celebrate every stepfather who stood in the gap so those kids didn't lose the love of a father because the biological didn't bother. And the scripture that we read in Luke 2 says, and it came time that she should be delivered. Joseph and Mary. Mary had a baby. Joseph was the covering, but he was not the father. I want to take a moment to honor every stepfather. Joseph wasn't just a good man, he was a great man.
Yeah, but Mary didn't go reproduce with a Dusty and then expect Joseph to go take care of it.
Come on, man, you don't know better than that as a cool person. Come on, man.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Man, this is some bullshit. And this is why lots of men do not want to attend church, because these pastors, oh my God. Why don't we talk about women who are reproducing with the men who won't be responsible for their seeds? Women choose irresponsible men to reproduce with. Why don't these pastors say, ladies, stop reproducing with irresponsible men instead of trying to bait responsible men in taking care of an irresponsible man's seed? Come on now. And then to be talking about Mary and Joseph, are we serious? This is why lots of men are backing away from the church. Backing away from the church because they try to use the Bible to justify their Jezebel behavior. This is the world we live in, guys.
Lately, there's been this growing trend. Single moms going online, practically pleading for men of value to step in as stepdads. They talk about wanting a real man, someone responsible, dependable, and ready to love both her and her kids. But let's be honest, where was all this energy when those same women were chasing the men who had nothing to offer but drama? Now that life's gotten hard, suddenly the men they once ignored have become the heroes they desperately need. Most of these women made poor choices when it mattered. They went after excitement instead of stability, and now they're paying for it. They created the very situation they're now trying to escape. And the men they once labeled as boring or not my type, those are the men they want now. But the problem is, those men have moved on. They've built lives, they've established peace. And they're not about to sacrifice all that just to play cleanup in someone else's story. What many women don't understand is that being a stepdad is not a reward, it's a responsibility. A man of value doesn't owe anyone a rescue mission. He worked hard to get where he is. He doesn't want to step into chaos, deal with disrespect, or carry the weight of another man's decisions. You can't destroy good men emotionally, ignore them for years, and then expect them to come back when you realize the kind of men you chose never wanted to stay. Men today are waking up. They've seen the pattern. The same women who mocked them for being too nice are now the same ones begging for them to be stepdads. But it's too late. You can't treat men as backups. You can't live recklessly and then look for someone to fix what's broken. That's not how respect works, and that's not how love is built. When you burn bridges with good men, don't expect them to rebuild them for you. It's simple. Choices have consequences. You can't shout independence, reject masculine leadership, and then cry about the lack of good men. Those valuable men you now want were always there. You just didn't see their worth until you had no other option. And now, Those men have standards, they have peace, and they're not volunteering to raise kids that aren't theirs. Because a man with value knows he's not a replacement, he's a prize.
Hi, my name's Maddie. I'm a single mom looking for someone to call daddy. Recently, it's become clear to me that my son is struggling from behavioral issues from not having a man around. We could both use some discipline. Bonus points if you know how to build things, because I'm in my gardening era and I would love someone to build me some garden boxes so that I can grow you food and cook for you really nice meals. There are no age requirements, pretty much the older the better. And the minimum height I'm willing to take is 5'6", because I'm 5'9", and I really like the number 69. Now let me introduce you to my son, Moo Moo. Moo, I'm trying to get you a dad. Be chill. Blue! Blue! As you can see, he's in his defiant teenage stage, and we desperately need help.
It's crazy how things flip, right? The same woman who once said, men aren't the goal, is now out here practically begging for men to apply. She used to laugh at the idea of needing a man, said she could do it all on her own, that men were overrated. But now, reality's knocking hard. Suddenly, she's realizing what most women refuse to admit, that life without a man's structure, leadership, and presence isn't as empowering as she thought. For years, women have been told they can replace men with independence and success. They thought emotional strength and a paycheck would fill the gap, but it doesn't. Now she's facing the truth. Her son is struggling. Behavioral issues, lack of direction, emotional imbalance, all because there's no man in home. The very thing she said wasn't necessary turned out to be the missing piece. And that's not shocking. That's nature reminding her what she chose to ignore. See, this is what happens when pride becomes louder than wisdom. You can't strip men out of the picture and expect everything to function normally. Children need structure. Boys especially need guidance. A woman can love her child deeply, but she can't teach him how to be a man. And now, instead of admitting that earlier, she's suddenly desperate, calling for men to apply like it's a job opening. It's embarrassing, and it's a perfect example of what happens when people confuse independence with arrogance. Men are not backup plans. We are not supposed to show up when your mistakes start haunting you. You can't say men aren't the goal and then change your story when reality humbles you. The same men you dismissed are now the ones you wish you had. But that's how it works. You didn't want to listen when people warned you that children need fathers. Now you're learning the hard way. And let's be honest, it's not the child's fault. It's the decisions you made. Ladies, men were never the problem. The problem was your mindset. You believed you could rewrite nature, and now the consequences are showing. A man's presence brings balance, discipline, and structure, things every home needs. But when you spend years rejecting that, you end up right where she is, alone, overwhelmed, and realizing too late that men were always the goal, not for status. Not for money, but for stability.
When I say that women are not supposed to be raising little boys by themselves, I mean that shit. Every time I turn around, my son is consistently getting into trouble. No matter what I do, my son is always getting into trouble. I buy my son everything that he needs. I buy him clothes. I buy him shoes. I make sure he get everything at home. I allow him to do so many things that other kids don't even have the opportunity to do. But every time I turn around, my son is consistently going to school, acting an ass. This is why I say fathers need to be in their kids' life. Because of shit like this. I feel like us as mother, we can only do so much. I'm so sick and tired of being the one that has to discipline him all the time. And yes, I have reached out to his father on multiple occasions. I have called this man. I have told this man that he needs to be in his son's life because his son is literally going down the same path that he is going down. I am just so over it, and I am so sick and tired of feeling like I am doing this shit by myself. I have literally did everything that I could possibly do. My son is consistently getting into trouble. Every time I turn around, he wants to follow up after everybody. And I'm like, I ain't never raised you to be no follower, so why are you doing the shit that you're doing? I'm literally starting to get to the point where I am running out of patience, and I don't know what to do at this point. Because now he has got kicked out of his after-school program because he wants to follow up after another little kid. I just don't understand why his father can run around freely and do whatever the hell he want to do while I'm sitting over here raising these kids all by myself.
This single mom online, pouring her heart out, saying she's tired playing both dad and mom. She said she loves her son more than life itself, but raising him alone is exhausting. And honestly, that's the truth. It is exhausting. But here's the thing. Nobody forced her into that role. These same women spent years shouting, "I don't need a man," pushing away the very thing that could have made their lives easier. Now, the same independence they brag about has become their biggest burden. She said she's tired of being the bad guy, the disciplinarian, the everything. And that right there shows a reality that so many women don't want to face. You can't replace a father. You can't fill both roles, no matter how strong you think you are. A man's presence brings balance and authority that a child naturally respects. When that's missing, it creates confusion, and that's why so many single mothers end up drained, frustrated, and overwhelmed, because the role they're trying to fill was never meant to be done alone. A lot of women created the situations they're now complaining about. They wanted control, they wanted freedom, and they thought men were optional. Now, they're realizing that the structure and leadership men bring were never a problem. It was pride that got in the way. They made choices out of emotion, chased the wrong men, or pushed away good ones who wanted to build something real. And now, they're left carrying the full weight of what used to be a shared responsibility. It's not that men disappeared. It's that men got tired of being blamed for everything. You can't say fathers don't matter, and then cry about missing one in the home. You can't raise your son alone, complain about how hard it is, and still refuse to admit that you helped create that problem. Men bring order, discipline, and consistency, all the things that keep homes grounded. When you remove that, chaos steps in. And that's exactly what she's describing, the exhaustion that comes from doing all without balance. So yes, she's tired, and she should be, because doing two people's jobs will drain anyone. But let this be a lesson. Independence without partnership isn't strength, it's struggle. Women need to stop pretending men are unnecessary. The father's role is not optional. It's essential. Maybe if more women respected that truth earlier, they wouldn't be crying later about needing help. Because no matter how much love you have, you can't give your child what only a father can provide.
Long story short, I am a single mom, and my son's father has not been in the picture since my son was very young. He's been gone for so long that it's like I made my son by myself. Today we were sitting in the car, and somehow we got on the conversation of like marriage and dad, because I like watching like romantic videos and movies, and my son was just like, I wonder when that's gonna happen for us. Like talking about family. And I always tell him like we're our own family, but I understand what he's saying because I do want that for us too. I want us to have that male figure in our life that is like an amazing role model for him, an amazing partner for me. And then he said, I can't wait to call someone dad again. I didn't immediately lose it, but that really hit my heart.
I guess the thing that I'm trying to figure out is two things, maybe three, maybe four. The first thing that I have to ask myself is why, right? Because every time that I see a woman have this conversation openly and they want to, for example, talk about what they don't have, or what they're doing, the fact that they're raising a child by themselves, is the first thing that I have to ask myself is, well, where is the father? And why don't he participate in a child's life? And is it something that you guys fell out as a result of? Did he go to jail? Did he die? Is he non-existent? Did he go get another family? Did y'all get into a big argument? Did you weaponize the child against him? Did he just decide to run out? Did you have a child with future? It's always that, because I'm a huge advocate for the woman going back to their baby father, right? No man can ever raise another man's child the way that the man that had the child raised the child. And of course, you're always going to have a bunch of people inside of the comments on some, oh, but my stepfather or whatever. Listen, that day is over. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you guys. It's woke. They are no longer going to subject themselves to being player number 2 or playing another man's save game or being a step crash dummy, because there is no real reward for raising another man's child. It's difficult enough, right? It's difficult enough raising your own child. It's harder than ever. As a person that has played a huge role in my daughter's life because I've been married the entire time, I will tell you that, it is very, very, very hard to raise a child today. And when I say it's hard,
Now we're seeing more and more single mothers coming online, admitting that they need a stepfather to help raise their sons. They're talking about loneliness, exhaustion, and emotional burnout. They're finally realizing that doing it all alone isn't strength, it's suffering. But here's the uncomfortable truth. These same women once said they didn't need a man. They celebrated independence, mocked traditional family roles, and now they're crying about the very reality they chose. For years, women were told they could be mom and dad at the same time, that men were replaceable, that love and leadership weren't necessary. But life doesn't bend to feelings. It exposes truth. The truth is, no matter how much you try, you can't fill both roles. You can provide, you can nurture, but you can't give that masculine structure a boy needs to grow into a man. Now they're realizing that their strong woman narrative didn't build families. It broke them. It's ironic, because the same women who once looked down on good men are now begging for them. But the sad part is, those good men have already moved on. They built peace, avoided drama, and refused to take on someone else's chaos. You can't insult men, reject responsibility, and then expect them to clean up what your bad choices created. That's not partnership. That's desperation disguised as self-awareness. The loneliness epidemic among women isn't accidental. It's the direct result of years of pride and denial. When women push men away, they push away stability. When they chose temporary excitement over commitment, they built lives full of regret. Now, they're finally admitting what men have been saying all along. Families function best with both parents. You can't rewrite nature and expect happiness to follow. You either build with a man or you struggle without one. They need stepfathers now. Not because men suddenly became valuable, but because women finally realized they always were. But here's the problem. Real men aren't signing up to raise children they didn't create or to fix women who refuse to listen. The time to value good men was before the loneliness set in, not after. Because men were never the problem, women's choices were. And now, reality is making them face the consequences they tried to ignore. And that right there, my friends, is the reality we're living in today. Men have always been the backbone of stability. But society made it easy to forget that until now. What we're seeing isn't just a wave of lonely single moms. It's a reflection of what happens when you try to build a home without balance. To every man watching, keep standing your ground, protect your peace, and never settle for being someone's backup plan. And to my loyal audience, I can't thank you enough for your continued support. You all are the reason these conversations matter. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this truth, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Until next time, stay focused, stay wise, and remember, real men don't chase validation, they build value. Thank you all for watching.